If you can't seem to rank up from iron, implement these 5 tips and watch your win rate go up. My first tip is for you to understand the maps. Where are the best places to be, where can enemies come from at what time, and which position should you clear in what order. These are some of the things you should work on as an iron rank player. Most irons will already know the basic layouts of the maps from the games they played before, but they don't know which spots to play and clear, so focusing on that when you're in iron is something you want to do. Tip 2 is for you to work on your crosshair placement. You've probably heard about this being talked about before, so I'm gonna keep it short, but crosshair placement is the number one thing beginner players are lacking. As an iron, you probably have an idea of how you should play the game to win, and can also get kills if you have your crosshair close to a player, but this is something most irons don't. This problem is super common in low ranks, so combining your map knowledge that you gained from using the first tip with this tip will make sure that you know all the common spots you want to have your crosshair pre-aimed at. Remember to also keep it at head height. Doing these 2 things should make a huge difference if you aren't already. Tip 3 is to learn to understand sound and the importance of it. It's common for newer players to play on really low volume and not pay attention to footsteps and other sounds. This is a huge mistake. Footsteps in particular is some of the most important information you have access to. This can help you get early info if someone is pushing your site or position without having to actually see them. This saves a lot of time, allowing your teammates to come help you before the enemies get into sight. It can also reveal where enemies are hiding and much more. Making sure that your volume in-game is high enough for you to hear everything that's going on is crucial and will make winning so much easier for you. The 4th tip is about playing with your team. Playing with your team is something you really want to start working on as soon as possible for 2 main reasons. The first reason is that VALORANT is a team game, so if you're playing it without paying attention to your team, then you're only taking advantage of half of what the game has to offer, which will make winning way harder for you. The other reason is that most low-ranked players tend to be way more focused on themselves rather than the team as a whole. This in turn gives you a huge advantage if you focus on both yourself and the team. Teamwork is obviously something you can delve very deep into, but simple things like learning to go with your team and attack and making sure you're not leaving holes in your defense by holding different positions as a defender are some great ways to start incorporating teamwork early. Tip 5. Get familiar with the different shooting styles and how recoil works. Recoil in VALORANT is different from many other shooter games in the way that you basically need to stand completely still in order to hit your shots. In a lot of games, running and gunning is a viable strategy, but it's not in VALORANT. Now there are some guns and situations where it will be an option, like if you're really close to a player or you have an SMG or pistol, but in 90% of the situations you'll get into, standing still will be the best thing to do. The 3 main shooting styles are tapping, bursting and spraying. Tapping is like the name implies, you tapping the shoot button to fire 1 shot at a time. The strengths of tapping is lower recoil and higher accuracy, which makes it better on long ranges and with guns that can kill in 1 shot. The weaknesses are that it's pretty bad at close range and versus multiple opponents. Bursting is when you shoot a short burst of bullets, usually around 3 to 5, which can be enough to kill a player if you hit them all. The strengths of bursting is like with tapping, high accuracy, but it's a bit better with guns that doesn't one-tap. Since you need to hit multiple shots to get the kill, it's more efficient to do it faster, which bursting helps you with. It's also better at mid-range combat as it's still accurate with less recoil than spraying, but not as slow as tapping. Moving on to spraying, this is the most common and natural way to shoot as you get out the most bullets at a time, which makes it feel the best. I think a lot of players, especially low-ranked players, spray way too much and really have no reason to do it all that often. Your aim is gonna be bad when starting out, so you wanna make sure that you take advantage of all the opportunities you get in game to get free kills. Why spraying can be pretty bad for this is because once you start spraying, you basically need to hit that spray and get the kill with it. If you see someone not looking your way and you start spraying and miss the 5 bullets, you're probably dead. On the other hand, if you take your time and aim for the head, then tap or put your crosshair on them and burst, that'll guarantee the kill compared to spraying wildly. Don't get me wrong, spraying is still good though. Its main strengths is handling multiple opponents at the same time and dealing massive amounts of damage in a short period of time, which makes it ideal for close quarters combat. Do keep in mind that spraying requires you to control the recoil, which can be pretty hard, so I suggest you to drag the mouse down when spraying and try to hit your first 10 or so bullets. And if you don't, you're in most cases better off stopping the spray and trying to tap to finish the fight off, if you're not already dead that is. Start using some of these tips for guaranteed better results. If you want to get some more low elo tips and tricks, then check out the video on screen right now. See you next time.